Воздух наполняет оживленный щебет и крики ласточек. И все. Кто-то сломал этот платный бинокль, теперь он не работает. Ты слышишь крики морских птиц вдалеке? Не вопрос. Аккумулятор. Секундочку. Мне нужно провод. Заведем на кнопку.それ私のやつだよ。はい、それ私のやつだよ。Что лежит? Пакет. В стене проходит линия отверстия от пуль. Объявление. Разбилось окно, обратитесь к Типсу за новым.
This coin-operated viewer is facing south. The instruction manual says to insert 25 centimes and pull the handle while looking inside. Then use the focus knob to zoom in if necessary. Why place a tourist attraction in the middle of such poverty?
Что туристический аттракцион делает здесь?
There was a revitalization project in 49. A design studio tried restoring Martinez to its pre-war glory. It didn't stick.
Что случилось?
They got as far as the street lamps and the statue on that intersection. Then something went sour. I suspect that something was Everard Clare, the union leader. He muscled them out. It's how it usually goes around here.
А мы что-то можем с этим сделать?
We should have done something about the union 10 years ago. That ship has sailed, officer.
Не знаю, стоит ли. Я пока не вижу смысла тратить деньги на это. Указатель северный объезд. Указатель жилой комплекс. Кейпсайд. Причал Мартинеза. Одинокий баклан наблюдает за морем, безразличный к твоему приближению. Баклан. Дно этой лодки сияет так, словно его недавно покрасили.
This is a wall on the side of an apartment building.
Низкие шансы. О, а мы с этой стороны теперь. Окей.
Are you trying to sneak up on me? Come to slit my throat in my sleep?
Ты не спишь.
Apparently, she doesn't like people standing behind her back. Logic error. She is not sleeping right now.
Вот именно.
Pigs come to take me out, trying to snuff me out.
А ты сейчас спишь?
Don't get fucking clever with me, pig. You think you're so clever.
Садовый шланг. Пока снег не растает, вряд ли он кому-то понадобится.
It's been a week and now they show up?
Столы и стулья, побитые дождем и гнилью. На этой стене еще одна линия пулевых отверстий. Бомжовская шапка. То, что мне нужно. -1 риторика. Мозг бомжа. Грубая сила, либо... Просто закрытая дверь, но ты с подозрением смотришь на нее.
I knew I should have quit.
There must be another way into the building.
Должен быть еще какой-то способ попасть в это здание. Балкон с видом на двор и на дерево, на котором повесили жертву.
You see a young man on a balcony nursing a cigarette. His eyes have been following you for a while.
Not looking for any trouble, officer.
Я проблем не доставлю, просто хочу выяснить, что происходит.
I don't want to be seen talking to the gendarmerie if that's okay. I just want to finish my cigarette.
It's the god of cigarettes and youth. Ask him if he's got anything to spare. Don't let him go. This could be your witness. The balcony has a great view of the whole thing.
Погоди, может, хоть сигареткой угостишь?
Apologies, but this is my last one.
The God himself has denied you absolution.
Может, просто скинешь мне эту? Что значит «мне нужно отпущение»? Мне нужно отпущение, я не знаю.
Absolution? I don't know that brand, but I'm pretty sure you can get Astras at the Frit.
А может, просто скинешь мне эту?
I'm not sure that's a good idea.
Ты прав, идея явно не очень. Забудь, что я говорил.
As you wish.
Вообще-то жандармам очень нужно поговорить с тобой.
Is it really that important?
Like a nervous cat, he keeps stealing looks at the neighboring windows.
All right, but make it quick. Once I finish this cigarette, I have to run.
Не подскажешь, как тебя звать?
My name? My name is Martin Martinez.
Martin Martinez? Good local name. Let's go with that.
Похоже, тут открывается хороший вид на задний двор кафе. Можешь что-нибудь сказать о повешении?
I'd even go so far as to say that the view is a little too good, my dear gendarme. Do you have an estimate of when the body will be taken away?
We will remove the body as soon as possible. Now tell us, where were you last Sunday?
Oh. You already asked me that, didn't you?
Wait, is someone else investigating the lynching?
Это был ты?
No, not you two. Some more muscular type.
And when did you speak to this more muscular gentleman?
Last week? I don't know. Look.
It'll take more than rain to bring this place back to life.
You didn't answer the question. What were you doing last Sunday?
I had a friend over.
Что за друг?
It was my Sunday friend.
A Sunday friend? How intriguing.
Как на самом деле зовут твоего друга? Он что-нибудь видел?
He doesn't reply, gesturing no with his cigarette. Under the grey sky, the neighboring windows are streaked with rain.
И все, получается. Ладно, поговорим позже.
No. We won't. Now, if you'll excuse me, I really need to get going.
Попробовать убедить его остаться.
This isn't the place or time for questions. Who knows who might be watching from the distance, hidden behind the curtains?
Послушай, я лишь хочу, чтобы все снова устаканилось. Может, встретимся где-нибудь в другом месте?
For a moment, the man on the balcony seems almost vulnerable. Something moves in the depths of his feline eyes, compassion and a hint of understanding.
I am sorry, but I really don't have the information you're looking for.
But, hold on, what's that? For a split second, his hand lingers, as though gesturing towards a stone placed right next to the front door. It's a sign.
Good luck with the investigation.
He's gone.
Надо бежать, посмотреть, куда он пошел.
No point in running. Tenements like these often have multiple exits. If he doesn't want to talk to us, then he'll know how to hide himself.
Значит, сдаемся?
He could be a witness. Him or his Sunday friend. Either way, we need to look into that muscular type who's asking about our case. He did leave us a sign. Did you see that? He wanted to draw our attention to that stone right over there. If we find a way inside the building, we can ask around for his apartment.
Вот и славно, за дело. Ключ?
A stone, like any other, lying in a whirl of sleet and mud. Maybe there's something under it.
Перевернуть его.
There's a key beneath it, rusty from the dirt.
This must be for the front door. Pity he doesn't have the apartment number on it. This building has many apartments, and the man can be in any of them.
Как же нам найти нужную?
We'll just have to go in and see.
Блин, я не хотел этого делать. Ладно. Куда-то движемся. Уведомления о выселении и объявления о пропаже домашних питомцев наклеены одно поверх другого. Это что? А, это тот самый балкон. В этом электрощитке полно проводов и окурков. Кто-то выращивает розмарин, чабрец и кактус. Так, это двери. Дверь в квартиру 30. Изнутри доносятся голоса. Кто-то подпевает под бодрую танцевальную музыку. Дверь в квартиру 29. Абсолютная тишина, никого нет дома. Номер 28. Эту дверь не забудешь. Почему? Просто дверь в данный момент не представляет для тебя интереса. коробке полно чистящих средств. Пахнет стиральным порошком. Давай посмотрим тут что сначала. Старая обувная полка. Ботинки, кроссовки и старые тапочки. Обувь грех. Обувь 3 разных размеров. Грех. На шторке в душе какая-то слизь. Квартира 12. Оттуда доносится громкий раскатистый храп. На стене нарисована пятиконечная звезда.
This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says, number 11.
Осмотреть замок.
It's a solid lump of metal, but the shackle is deeply corroded. A solid pair of chain cutters would make short work of it.
Постучать.
No reply.
Мы могли бы перекусить скобу болтореза.
Why would we want to break into some random citizen's apartment?
Не знаю, просто подумал, что мы могли бы.
The lieutenant looks at you for a long moment, then blinks once.
I suppose if one were committed to it, there's a pair of chain cutters in the kinema.
You hear someone walking around inside, rearranging the furniture. The number on the panel says 10.
Окей. Дверь в квартиру 9 заперта. Квартира 8. Надпись на стене: отряд для расстрела богачей. Закрыто. Еще один балкон. Кто это сказал?
Ruination has come. The broken arches betray the once grand history of this building. It towered over the harbor until it happened.
Попробовать догадаться, что произошло.
A great force from the northeast fired into the city. Heavy artillery shelled the coastline. Fired from the water. A straight shot into Revachol. The tenement acted as a defensive wall against the worst of the shelling until it was destroyed, and they had a direct firing line.
Посмотреть на океан.
The waves of the Martinez Inlet roll over the fallen remains of the building. The dark waters obscure the better part of the remains. What didn't fall into the ocean was used as scrap. What wasn't used as scrap was thrown into the ocean.
Посмотреть на руины в воде.
Those arches acted as support for something greater than what you see now. Only 3 stories stand where 9 to 12 once did. Restoration has failed. What the shelling took out was never rebuilt.
Кто за этим стоит? За этими повреждениями?
A fleet, the combined armies of Occident and Grad, with Mesk volunteers, a 5-nation army, hundreds of vessels. They massed airships further down in the Bay of Revachol. The artillery was so powerful. The ships not only required gyroscopic stabilization, they were anchored into the ocean floor as well. Many are still there to this day. If you squint, you can just barely see the shadow on the water, far in the northeast. Cannons still ready to placate Revachol.
Слушай, Ким, а ты знаешь, кто так обстрелял наш город?
The coalition. But that was a long time ago. I think we should move on. It's chilly up here.
Время идти. Замок заржавел, войти не получится. Стул новый, там кто-то живет. Сверху хлопает на ветру брезент. Ржавеют забытые молотки и гвозди. Что?
The streets will flow red once more, a great torrent rushing down Rue de Espérance. You wait and see.
The streets will not flow red with anything. Who are you?
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth, blood type, the last time I was tested for Hep C.
Да, гепатит. Когда ты последний раз сдавала анализы?
Had a battery of tests just last week. I'm practically a patchwork of interesting critters. Kinda like a man-o'-war.
That smell coming from her paint bucket. It's not paint. It's heavy fuel oil.
Это что, мазут?
Red-dyed heavy fuel oil, intended for exclusive use in government vehicles, to be precise.
What did you think I was using? Aquarels? Sucked it out of a cop's fuel tank myself. Back in Jamrock.
Заявление настоящего художника.
You ain't seen nothing yet, piggy boo.
Да. Ты постоянно куда-то косишься. Что там?
The lieutenant furrows his brow at another one of your eccentricisms. Hatred, disgust. It's difficult to tell which of the two is more present in her girlish features. The woman on the boat does not notice her staring.
That is on her. Someone's got to keep an eye on her.
Ozon is an archipelago 2 days' travel away from Revachol. Its moneyed residents, used to posh restaurants and upscale boutiques, rarely have reason to visit Martinez.
Кто он?
Probably the Wild Pines rep. We should talk to her. She's a professional negotiator, though. I have the feeling she will be very cooperative while telling us nothing. You should take the lead. Ask her unexpected questions, you know? Do your thing. Don't be afraid to get a bit wacky. Throwing her off is our best bet.
Good idea, piggies. Run along now. Fuck her shit up good. Impound that boat while you're at it. I'd like to watch her swim back to her on.
Тебе что-нибудь известно о недавнем убийстве?
I ain't no snitch, pigstein. Go forth and forage in someone else's shit. No shortage of squealers in these parts.
Actually, there is a shortage of people who talk to us in a normal, calm, informative manner.
We weren't put on this earth to make your life pleasant, fucko.
Ладно, до скорого, Синди.
Watch your back, ungulate. You've got eyes on you.
Так, а мы разве отсюда вышли? Погоди, еще раз. А тут что? Этого угля хватит не на одну зиму. Пахнет химией. Джинсы. Здесь кто-то спал недавно. Синди? Закрыто. Слишком много всего закрытого. Измятая открытка с фотографией рынка на Буги-стрит 5-летней давности. Улыбающийся продавец рядом со своим товаром мертвыми петухами. Петухи подвешены на ноги, за ноги под навесом. Красная кровь стекает по тротуару, мимо скользят размытые фигуры прохожих. Что мне с этой открыткой делать? Спрашивать о том, в какой квартире он живет. Может, у уборщицы спросить.
The pockets of these new jeans are perfect for sticking your hand into. Makes you look cool, calm, and collected. As your hand enters the pocket, your fingers brush against something. Soft, yet crinkly. Hey, it's a chewing gum wrapper. It reminds you of the fruity juice of apricots. You should inspect it closer if you have time. Something about the wrapper's texture is familiar.
Наркотики.
By the way, the raw materials were most likely exported from Seaguy, the apricot suzerainty, and processed in sur-le-clay into the apricot-flavored chewing gum loved by kids of today and yesterday. Something about it is familiar, and not only to your fingers.
Это где? Обертка. Взаимодействие.
There it is again. The scent of apricots with a touch of cinnamon. Smells like the end of some distant summer. The surface of another planet, or some ancient temple.
Древний храм.
Yes, from the height of antiquity. A long, long time ago. Millennia ago. On an island of time you can never return to.
Окончание лета.
The sun sets into the sea, but the water does not boil. Instead, it turns to liquid gold. For a moment, the world's store of precious metals seems to increase dramatically, and you are rich. There is a movement next to you, the shuffle of a small coat, warm like the evening. But when you turn toward it, there's nothing there.
Постой, вернись.
Why are you talking to a gum wrapper?
Потому что, не знаю. Сделать глубокий-глубокий вдох.
Bitter, citrus, sweet. It seems to grow stronger, like a glow, with every breath you take. Whatever petrochemical byproducts they used to create this artificial flavor have bonded tightly to the wrapper, or is that just your memory filling the gaps? Until a blossom of skin and flower petals erupts behind your closed eyes, made of toffee, cream, and distance. You just had to take a dive. Feels so familiar.
Брать обертку. Так, погоди. Можно разблокировать. И чего мне будет стоить? Потратить 1 очко навыков, чтобы разблокировать новую ячейку. Ну, наверное, да, я думаю, по ходу игры это придется делать. Так что пусть будет. Но у меня еще есть 1 очко навыков. Что я взял? Мусор, типа. Теперь я с пакетом хожу, поэтому могу собирать мусор, видимо. Объявление опечатано по решению Ассоциации риэлторов Мартинеза. Раскинувшееся внизу море выглядит холодным и по-зимнему серым. Кто-то пробил стену. Вот тут дыра была, оказывается. На столе старый список покупок и банковские платежки.
What happened here?
Банк не может опечатать квартиру, у которой дыра в стене.
It will still be accessible through the apartment next to it. That one didn't have a door. Sadly, nothing of great value remains here.
Наверняка найдется что-нибудь в холодильнике.
Indeed.
Все. Давай постучим. В квартиру, может.
You hear someone walking around inside, rearranging the furniture. The number on the panel says 10. The walking stops abruptly, but no one comes to the door. You can feel tension on the other side.
Снова постучать.
A poor communard, from the looks of it. The room is barely bigger than a closet.
Откройте, полиция.
Do I have to open the door? Do you have a warrant? I'm not obligated to open the door if you don't have a warrant.
Let's go. We don't have a reason to get inside that apartment.
It's generally easier to do things if you have literally any reason.
Уйти. Так, мы тут были, я что-то забыл.
This door has been closed with a padlock.
Окей. Так, надо спросить, видимо.
Give me a moment. The cold never does any good for my bronchitis.
Вы в порядке, бабуль? Может, врача?
I'm fine. Fine. Don't you worry about me. Now, what do you want from me, policeman?
She's the cleaning lady. She knows the floor plan and the residence.
Я ищу Мартина Мартинеза.
Oh, you'll find plenty of Martins here. Don't you worry.
Нет, вы не поняли. Я ищу человека по имени Мартин Мартинес. Он сам сказал мне, что он Мартин Мартинес.
Pea-brain. Someone played a trick on you. Martin Martinez is a name for anyone who comes from Martinez, like Tim Jambrock or Raoul Ravachol.
Oops, you really didn't get the joke there.
Да не, мне так и показалось, когда он сказал, что он явно выбрал какой-то типа там Иван Иванов.
I thought it was obvious. Anyway, officer, we don't have the witness's name.
Юноша лет 25, темные волосы, худощавый, курит на балконе. Знаете, где он живет?
Yes, yes. I know who you mean. The scrawny boy who's always smoking like the devil, right?
Somewhere in the building, a child starts crying. You hear a radio tuned to a talk show and someone taking a shower.
What's he in trouble for?
Ничего, я просто хочу с ним поговорить. Вы знаете, где он живет?
Talk? He lives upstairs in room 28. Go to the balcony. It's one of those doors there. He's usually home in the evening.
Thank you. We should go check out his apartment on the balcony. See if he's home.
У меня есть несколько вопросов про квартиры.
Ask away, policeman.
Вы знаете, кто жил в опечатанной квартире?
The hell am I supposed to know? Another nut job, I assume.
Почему в брошенной квартире дыра в стене?
Some lunatic lost his mind. All kinds of morons pass through these halls.
Кто-то из жильцов уехал в отпуск? У него почтовый ящик забит.
People come and go. I don't keep an eye on everyone.
They probably just moved or died, hopefully somewhere else.
Кто живет в 10-й квартире?
No one lives there. It's been empty for months.
Но я с кем-то говорил через дверь.
Impossible. I would know if someone had moved in there.
Ага.
Maybe it's those countercultural people again. Breaking into a house like it's a public space. You're a policeman. Be good and take a look, will you?
Конечно, я посмотрю, что там такое.
Great. Young people. They're worse than rats. You know, always littering the hallways with trinkets and empty beer cans.
А кто живет за дверью с висячим замком?
Oh, that one is a scientist, a future scholar. I think he studies astrology at the community college. Education's good. I always tell them to study.
Астрологию?
Something to do with all those stars around his door. He asked me to leave his drawings up on the wall.
А может, вы про астрономию?
That's what I said. Astrology.
The lieutenant shakes his head as though to say, let it go. Come on, people. Try to keep up any standards here. It's not about stars. It's... forget it.
Что вы можете рассказать о Сидни? О Синди?
The artiste? Nothing I can do about her, I'm afraid. She ruins the walls faster than I can clean them. Still, she leaves an old lady to her business. More than I can say for others.
Это все, спасибо.
She mumbles some kind of a response, then hacks something into her handkerchief.
Спасибо, я пойду. Так, давайте-ка нам поговорить еще раз.
You hear someone walking around inside, rearranging the furniture. The number on the panel says 10.
Снова
A
сейчас.
poor communard from the looks of it. The room is barely bigger than a closet.
Откройте, полиция.
Do I have to open the door?
Да.
Do you have a warrant? I'm not obligated to open the door if you don't have a warrant.
Let's go. We don't have a reason to get inside that apartment.
It's generally easier to do things if you have literally any reason.
Эта квартира должна пустовать. Вы проникли в нее самовольно?
Excuse me? Of course not.
You have plenty of reason to enter.
Мне не нужен ордер, если я подозреваю проникновение.
Oh, come on.
That was smart.
коробке торчит блистер таблеток. Из коробки торчит блистер таблеток. Возьми его. Похоже, неплохой матрас. Явно надо взломать его дверь. Черные туфли с пряжками. Так. У меня вообще туфля одна, блин, тут какая-то дерьмовая.
The luxury of fine things. Just look at those black monk straps. After spending an entire day hustling, who's to say that you didn't deserve a pair of ridiculously expensive shoes on your tired feet?
Верно, красивые вещи приносят радость.
Beautiful things give you a rush. It's power. Crafting your style, draping your flesh in silk and leather, deciding how to present yourself to the world. Remember, when they come to take it away from you, you worked for those shoes. Whether you like it or not, wearing these shoes has made you more liberal. Ultra-liberal.
Так, а кто вы такая?
Satisfied? My name is Marielle Charpentier, and I'm an agent with Martinez Realty Associates. I am not breaking in, as I have every right to be here. The keys, see? Do you want to see my ID as well? You can't legally ask for it, but why not? Want to see my residence permit too?
Посмотреть паспорт.
It feels flimsy in hand, with the words Revachol Zone of Control written under a nondescript municipal logo. There's a picture of her with shorter hair inside, along with all her personal details.
Милая стрижка.
Thank you. Do you have any questions? I need to be back in Midtown in an hour.
Что вы здесь делаете?
I need to get it ready for the next lease, but as you can see, the previous tenant completely trashed the place.
Отвратительно. Кто здесь жил?
It was some kind of a moribund old man who used to be a business owner. You'd think they'd make rent. But that was months ago. Anyway, was there anything you wanted, or is that it? I'm in a hurry.
А кто жил в опечатанной квартире дальше по коридору?
Oh, that's another huge mess. The former tenant owes us 3 months of rent. 3. We closed the apartment and planned on auctioning off the valuables, but... And again, I have no idea how stupid mistakes like this can even happen. But Ron, when he came to close the door, didn't close the neighboring door. And there's a hole in the wall.
So preppy. She's probably on some low-grade performance enhancers, like Preptide or Pericanine.
A hole in the wall. Can you believe it? And then the tenant ran off with his stuff. He's gone. The money's gone. Just like that.
The sum must have been puny.
Ну, вряд ли он задолжал вам какую-то серьезную сумму. Квартира выглядит так себе.
These apartments are perfectly fine. They have gorgeous architecture, a million real view of the bay, good ventilation, neighbors, life, spark, and they are affordable.
Риэлтор.
I'll tell you, Martinez has a future. In a few years, it's going to blossom with artists and creatives and those radio computer wizards.
Погодите, а со стеной-то что случилось?
Don't ask me what happened with the wall. I have no idea how we're going to find the time or resources to fix it. Both apartments are now unrentable. Both.
Ну ладно, спасибо.
Of course.
Give me a moment.
Я не нашел в 10-й квартире никаких маргиналов. Там была риэлторша, которая готовила апартаменты для новых жильцов.
I see. I hope some good people are finally going to move in. This place needs them.
Я уверен, что все будет в порядке. Этому дому нужны постепенные изменения, едва заметные.
Yes. Well, I hope they're good people.
Your statements are too vague to comment on.
Ну, блин, извини. Что мне надо было выдумывать про радиокомпьютерных волшебников? Спасибо, я пойду.
That isn't just a five-pointed star. It's an inverted white pentagram cradled in a wreath of antlers. The iconography of communism, in other words.
Коммунисты? Не сатанисты? Перевернутая пентаграмма. Внимательнее смотреть символ.
The star and antlers was developed in the 6th decade of the last century and quickly adopted by Mazov and the communards during the revolution. Even today, half a century after, the star and antlers retains the ability to evoke hope, disappointment, and fear in equal measure.
Почему звезда перевернута?
To symbolize the toppling of the old order. Also, some social democrats were already using it.
Что означает рога?
The wreath of antlers represents a natural crown. It was about building a society that could exist in accord with the natural world, and at the same time above it.
А почему цвет белый?
Because white is the color of peace.
Какие чувства звезда вызывает во мне?
Nothing at all yet. Right now, it's just meaningless shapes on a wall.
Это правда. Слушай, эту квартиру явно надо взломать. Там не астроном. Как туда попасть, интересно?
This door is made of metal and appears to be reinforced. Someone here really values their security. Number 28. This is where the cleaning lady said the smoker on the balcony lives.
Let's see if anyone's home. Knock on the door.
Постучим.
No one answers.
Looks like the young man we are looking for isn't home. I think our best chance to catch him is in the evening. We should return tomorrow after we have finished with our day's work. How
Завтра?
about 9 p.m.? Sound good?
Ты о чем?
The smoker on the balcony. This is why we are here, right? He might know something about the murder. So tomorrow 9 p.m.?
Suddenly, he's a little worried about your memory.
Да нет, блин, Я хотел сказать, ты о чем, в смысле? Чего так поздно? Почему завтра, а не сегодня? Ладно, хорошо, завтра в 9.
Tomorrow, 9 p.m., right here. Apartment number 28. Good, let's go.
Damn. Turns out it's quite tricky finding someone in a big apartment building. Don't worry. You'll get him. Remember, tomorrow. He's probably gone for today.
Понятно. Как туда попасть, интересно? Тут ведь нет прохода, да? Может купить все-таки плоскогубцы или как там эти и открыть дверь. Так, что у нас тут есть? Курильщик на балконе, это надо ждать. Купить треники у Куна. Блин, он вообще не дает, не разговаривает. Это надо подождать. Найти катушку с грустной песней. Где? Найти того, кто позвонил в участок. Найдите человека. Кто положил одежду в мусор, тоже непонятно. Оплатить 100 баксов. У меня только, блин, 25 или что-то около того. Сообщить в участок. Не знаю, стоит ли это делать, но можно. Смотреть тело надо бы. Буду теперь собирать, блин, бутылки, я не знаю. Потому что, чтобы деньги накопить, у меня 22 доллара всего лишь. Ну, не доллары, не знаю. Условно единицы. Жилой комплекс Кейпсайд. Рю де Сен-Гислен. Северный объезд. Внутри виден каркас ремонтируемого мотоцикла и инструменты, с помощью которых его разобрали. Похоже, когда-то не один десяток лет назад здесь были и другие постройки. Тут был проход все это время. Пирс только для жителей Рю де Сен-Гислен, 33А. Твой номер в танцах не сильно больше этой яхточки. Она стоит больше, чем ты когда-либо сможешь заработать.
A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf is tied around her throat.
Good afternoon, officers. I'm Joyce. Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM.
Надо, как он сказал, что-то неожиданное спрашивать. Joyce L? А что означает это L?
Beaton, my maiden name.
РГМ, что-то смутно знакомое.
I meant you, the Revachol Citizens Militia, the police.
Как вы догадались?
Nothing, honestly. I've said it to every drunk in town, and you're the first one who's responded.
Пожать руку.
I'm glad to see you here. I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will, gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines Group.
Расскажите мне о Wild Pines. Чем вы занимаетесь?
What we do. I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking.
Хорошо, тогда чем же они занимаются?
The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping side of things. And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration, offshore platforms.
Сколько у Wild Pines денег?
I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year, the company booked more than 20 billion real in revenue.
A billion?
Ух ты!
20 billion is a large number, but the conglomerate employs 72,000 people. They all need to be paid. Then there are capital improvements, interest payments. A conglomerate the size of the Wild Pines is like a shark. If it stops moving, it will die. Then what becomes of those 72,000 families? It's a tremendous responsibility.
Откуда у Wild Pines все эти миллиарды?
They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran and Insulindian Isolas 250 years ago, when Pine ships explored the South Seminese and charted Lomantang on behalf of the suzerain. Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taken everything from its employees to build it.
А что такой гигантской системе нужно в таком вот месте?
You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo?
8% всех грузов в мире? Да уж, это действительно крупное предприятие.
There are no minor cogs in the system. Each terminal must be accounted for, lest the entire system break. Every hiccup in such a system means thousands lose their jobs, the world over. I'm here to assure that doesn't happen.
With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone.
А что вы можете рассказать о забастовке?
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets.
А какую роль вы играете во всем этом?
I believe the official title is Senior Labour Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching took place. Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter-20 racist behemoth blocking the gates.
А, вы имеете в виду Жан-Люка, который... моего наставника по теории рас? Моего наставника. Он великолепный учитель, настоящий ценитель искусства.
Oh, so you've met him. Has he beguiled you with his inane theories?
My colleague has his peculiarities. Let's not go into this particular one just yet.
Of course. To each their own.
Как проходили переговоры до того, как случился самосуд?
Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations.
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike.
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive.
Какие требования они выдвигают?
There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. What did they say again? Oh yes. Every worker, a member of the board.
Они хотят долю? Они хотят стать акционерами, в смысле?
Most of the workers probably don't know what that means.
Не знаю даже, что на это сказать.
Fortunately, they explained it. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about anything, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinez terminal. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group.
Должен признать, что это действительно смешно.
They're having a blast. But how can they afford it? After 4 months, my assumption was they would prefer a more practical solution.
Что вы собираетесь делать?
I'm not sure. Naturally, I assumed that was just their opening position, a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. And now, People are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags. A disastrous situation if there ever was one.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
I first heard it from the bowyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, "Call me mañana."
This checks out.
Так. Я могу прям сейчас посмотреть. А, это вот про это? Грядет озарение по расовой теории. Я смогу туда проникнуть, возможно, за счет этого. Так. А что случилось с этим гомоном?
Mr. Clare told him to... How did he put it? Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see.
Да, не очень получилось.
Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the Union.
Расскажите мне о председателе профсоюза господине Клэри.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of the workers first.
Серьезно?
Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood.
Он что, настолько ужасен?
He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar.
Что? Их еще и двое?
Yes. Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues.
А что вы можете сказать про сам профсоюз? Не принимаю в расчет братьев Клэр.
The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that. Organised labour at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say?
A mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, I suspect we'll be forced to cooperate with them.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his brother. And your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is...
У меня еще не сложилось определенного мнения по этому вопросу.
Of course, officer.
Так, Что насчет отчепенцев ворот? Это вы их туда отправили? Сейчас, погоди, чуть другой вопрос появился. Еще один момент. Вы сказали, что произошла какая-то история с выборами.
I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the union. She disappeared.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore, or coming to work. Ever. End of story.
Возможно, ее шантажировали.
Indeed. The company suspects foul play, but there's nothing they could do. It was a union matter. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Так, и что насчет отчепенцев ворот? Это вы их туда отправили?
The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock come to plead for work where the union refuses to? If they were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you. Not right now, at least.
It's implied she's open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion.
Ладно, я услышал все, что нужно. Давайте сменим тему.
Of course. How else can I help?
Что вы можете рассказать про самосуд?
Quite a few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Бля, у меня нет удостоверения.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi from Precinct 57. And this is my colleague from Precinct 41.
Удостоверение, да, конечно, удостоверение, которое всегда со мной.
He looks at you expectantly. Then it dawns on him.
На самом деле у меня при себе нет удостоверения.
How curious. Why is that, detective?
Помните, мой напарник говорил, что недавно у меня случился один необычный приступ. Из-за него я потерял удостоверение.
I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode?
Да.
I can't hear you, darling. Speak up, please.
Возможно, я проснулся после ночи обильных возлияний и не смог вообще ничего вспомнить. Ни про свою жизнь, ни про этот мир.
Oh dear. Some kind of encephalopathic amnesia. I don't even know how to respond. I do believe you, naive as that may sound. I simply can't imagine what you gain by faking such a condition.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCM.
Of course, I sympathize, but I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that badge.
Hang on. She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement.
Как мне с ней договориться?
She's a negotiator. Just float a favor at her. Insinuates.
Наверняка ведь есть какой-нибудь другой способ подтвердить нашу принадлежность к органам правопорядка.
I will be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. They're going to want to see something very tangible.
You're in, but expect her to drive a hard bargain.
Например?
Reports from inside Terminal B suggest it's a hub for the local drug trade. This is an open secret in Martinez. The Union controls the terminal, so it goes to reason.
They're profiting from this trade.
The company has tried looking into this matter before, to no avail. Perhaps someone with your authority and resources might turn over the right stones. Or you can recover your badge, though if I may be blunt with you, it sounds like that may be a lost cause.
Detective, a word in private before we continue.
Мадам, прошу прощения, мы на минуточку. Что мне сделать?
What's this? We're getting reports of normal, reasonable, temperate, political opinions somewhere in Martinez.
Это все потому, что я в политических беседах всегда выбираю ничего из перечисленного, да?
It's also about that, but it's also more. Perhaps it's the hangover. Perhaps it's a temporary surge of serotonin, but something tells you it's time to become a citizen of the Kingdom of Conscience.
Расскажи-ка мне для начала, где находится это королевство совести.
It is not a place. It is a moment in time that can only arise in the right circumstances. In all of human history, it's only been achieved a handful of times.
Как же добиться этих обстоятельств?
Incrementally. Yawn, you'd get there faster with a little speed. History's greatest catastrophes have been brought about by people trying to make the world a better place too quickly. That's the genius of Dolores Day. She recognized that progress is meaningless if its gains are lost because of instability. Real, lasting change can only come about gradually, increment by increment.
Ладно, на что вообще похоже это королевство совести?
The kingdom is difficult to comprehend and even more difficult to describe. Partly because humanity will need to discard many of the categories that define and limit it today. The kingdom of conscience is post-capitalist, post-national. It's also post-industrial, post-ideological, and even post-sexual.
Блин, о чем вообще речь идет? Слушай, это же кошмар какой-то. Кажется, я больше не хочу быть моралистом.
What you want is immaterial. The kingdom of conscience is coming, whether you like it or not. Only very slowly. Advanced race theory. Everything is calm in the eye of the race storm. Your mind is lucid and bright. The mind-bending phylogenetics appear more distant and, to be fair, a little ridiculous. The great race mystery has cleared up. All that's left to do is verbalize your thoughts. Go and talk to Measurehead. about your newly found insights.
Как с ним поговорить, я не понимаю. А мне надо, навести с ним точно.
This is not going quite as I hoped it would, detective.
А чего ты ожидал?
Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance, and not volunteer us to be her henchmen.
Да? А я думал, все прошло хорошо.
This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser. Either way, we've played straight into her hands.
А что ты предлагаешь делать? Отказаться расследовать контрабанду наркотиков?
No. If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we're siding with the Union, or that we're on their take. We'd never hear the end of it. What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done and demand for her information on the lynching.
Ну или мы можем просто, найти мое удостоверение.
Oh, that would be fantastic, but do we have the time? The world is large and your badge is 8 by 6 centimeters.
The situation might have changed drastically by the time you locate it. Time is of the essence.
You could request a new one from your station, but that would literally take months.
Ладно, вернемся к ней.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Похоже, вы богатая. Дадите мне денег.
Is what you want to say, but it isn't that easy, is it?
А что, почему нет?
Look at that lady. Take a gander. Squint your eyes, bub.
Какой дорогой материал.
Why, yes. Tucked away under that sturdy green raincoat, almost rustic in its simplicity, a silk shirt and matching scarf around her gentle throat, while dull orange pearls hang from her earlobes, red from the cold. Her light green eyes scan you, full of knowledge and worry, wealth and all its possibilities. These are the kind eyes of the rich man that seem to say everything is possible, within reason.
Так, и что?
Now look at you, you misery-clad simian, barely able to tie your own laces. Your armpits are lakes. A scythe of booze precedes you. Your hair sticks to your forehead, and your underwear feels uncomfortable. You're poor, poor as balls. You can't ask this person for money. You're too...
Стыд?
Yes, you're too ashamed to ask this person for money. Too scared to belittle yourself in her eyes. Those half-precious stones of Odinel.
As I was saying, if there's any way I may be of assistance, please don't hesitate to ask.
Все-таки можно сказать это. Сказать, давай попробуем. Чё, блин, это игра. Сказать, можете дать мне немного денег?
I am sorry. It just doesn't come out of your mouth. What does is...
Excuse me? I didn't hear you.
What you meant to say was...
Вы на яхте?
Why, yes I am.
У нее есть имя?
The boat? No. It is called Cordelati 19 because that's the type of sloop it is.
Ладно, а что это за яхта? Какого она типа?
It's a pleasure craft, a 19 pacer. It also happens to be rated for Category 1 racing. Though these days I mainly use it for business.
Она вам нравится?
My sloop? I like it a lot. It's the eel's hips, baby.
I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder we're investigating.
I really do, the lieutenant thinks. Is she thrown off yet? He's looking at the woman, assessing her.
Надо было вот этот разговор продвигать, чтобы сбить ее с толку. Кажется, здесь мало у кого есть свое судно.
Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around?
Погодите-ка, на архипелаге?
Yes, we are. We are on Lucayu.
Каю? Я думал, мы в Реваншоле.
We are. And the city of Revachol is on the island of Lucayu.
Как бы то ни было, я не видел, чтобы здесь еще кто-нибудь катался на яхте.
I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kenema motor carriage either.
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit vehicle. It's for crossing long distances in the greater Revachol industrial harbor. It's not a toy.
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of Revachol, between the city and the islands.
А у вас есть права на управление этой яхтой?
Officer, I assure you I'm a highly qualified pleasure craft operator.
The crowns of her teeth are porcelain, white as the boat's hull as she smiles. Qualified pleasure craft operator. So charming. Where's the damn license?
Так. Предъявите ваши права, пожалуйста.
I just renewed its safety inspection last month, officers. It is completely seaworthy. In fact, it's taken part in not one, but two insulindic regattas.
Да.
Even finished once.
Права где? Ладно. А что случилось во время второй?
The other time, I would have finished the race were it not for an urgent work matter, much like the one I'm on now.
Тем не менее, я все равно должен проверить ваши права.
Actually, you don't.
Тихо. Нет, я абсолютно уверен, что должен. Я же полицейский.
It is a little known fact among those who police that the Wayfarer Act specifically denies the RCM the authority to demand anyone's operator license.
Как по мне, так это больше похоже на закон анархии.
No need to politicize this. You may still ask for the lady's passport.
Да, я хотел бы взглянуть на ваш паспорт.
Of course.
Посмотреть ее паспорт.
The woman is silent, smiling while the waves lap against the hull. In your hand, under the plastic, a light blue passport saying, Republic of Vespa. The coat of arms has a lion and an ostrich. Seagent.
Посмотреть страницу с фотографией.
The woman, born in the year 3 in the commune of Revachol, smiles at you. Face adorned with frown lines and crow's feet. The photo is recent. The name reads, Rejoice Leighton Messier.
Вас зовут Rejoice? В переводе «возрадуйся»?
Yes. But please don't call me that.
Почему?
Joyce is much more efficient.
Вы из Веспера?
My husband is. I have dual citizenship. A Vespertine is handier when traveling.
Похоже, все в порядке.
She nods and returns the plastic bag to her coat.
Полагаю, с яхтой мы разобрались.
Good.
Ладно, хорошо. Расскажите мне об этой предполагаемой контрабанде наркотиков.
It's quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients from the Samaran Isola into Revachol with the Union's blessing. Wild Pines has suspected it for years.
Ingredients for what, ma'am?
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you can't make from the stuff.
Shit, yeah, baby. It's the party pipeline. Why would you want to shut that down?
Я правильно понимаю, что сырье поступает из Самары в Реваншоль через терминал?
Yes. After they clear the terminal, we lose track. The actual production is taking place at various sites in and around Jamrock Quarter, north of here.
Wild Pine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, ma'am. Do you mean to say the Union also produces the product? Sells drugs, I mean?
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the company knows, the Union does not produce it. They transport the ingredients for a cut.
Вы хотите, чтобы мы расследовали это дело?
Yes, but you won't get anything out of Evrat and the Dock Workers Union. Still, every chain has its weak link.
The handoff. The motor lorries at the roundabout.
Грузовики.
Precisely. Someone needs to move the ingredients from the harbour into the city. Once they reach Jamrock, they're distributed to a network of local manufacturers well beyond our grasp. But in transit, they are vulnerable. Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now. Interview the drivers who are still hanging about. One of them might be waiting for a crucial shipment. I'll be explicit. If you find this driver, I will share company secrets with you.
А почему вы не обратились в РГМ раньше?
We did. On more than one occasion. Apparently, there's some sort of inter-precinct disagreement about whose jurisdiction this area falls under.
We know the company has launched its own probe into the union's alleged involvement. We also know it's come up empty. It's not just the RCM. No one's been able to find any hard evidence.
Well, here's your chance, officers.
То есть застрявшие на перекрестке грузовики — это не случайность, да?
No. We asked East Motor Track to raise the drawbridge. The road company is a partner of one of our subsidiaries. However, this is a limited time opportunity. Once the complaint has been processed by the Trade Committee, they'll have no choice but to lower the drawbridge, and the operation will continue. Thousands of litres of raw ingredients will pour onto the streets of Revachol. Not the east across the river, but the west. The vulnerable, the weary.
Well, at least this solves one mystery.
What is that, Lieutenant?
Why I had to call East Motor Track and beg them to open a drawbridge for me. I'd wondered since I first drove in, on my motor carriage.
I am sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kisaragi, but we need them trapped here. This is a unique opportunity. I'm sure you understand.
Чем вы можете доказать, что профсоюз замешан в этом деле?
How do you think they're financing this strike? There are thousands of unpaid dock workers going strong for the 4th month straight.
There was a shakedown of local businesses preceding the strike. Many were squeezed to bankruptcy to fund it.
With all due respect to these desert cacti, the contents of a few cash registers cannot provide for 2,000 men. The local businesses can scarcely provide for themselves.
Так вы считаете, что забастовка финансируется за счет сырья для наркотиков?
Precisely. Smuggled out of that very gate at night, most likely, then loaded onto lorries and driven to Jamrock. You simply need to find one driver who will open up to you.
Ладно, я принял решение по поводу этого расследования контрабанды.
Yes?
Мы возьмемся за это дело и проверим водителей, и посмотрим, к чему это приведет.
Excellent. According to my reports, there are at least 3 lorry drivers lingering near the roundabout. Hopefully one of them will know something. It may come to nothing, or it may just blow the case wide open. I can keep the drawbridge up for a few more days at least. You should have the time you need. In the meantime, let me know if there's any other way I may be of assistance.
Спасибо, на этом у меня пока все.
Of course, Detective. Take care.
Hobocop.
Бомжекоп.
Technically, you wouldn't be a cop anymore, but a hobo. That would mean game over for the cop chapter of your adventures. But who knows where the hobo part takes you? To the bar? The old L'Assommoir? To the pier or the sewers? To Le Royaume, where for 300 years they interred the dead. You could plunder royalist crypts for long-forgotten triple malt bourbon. Then fight the Aramakan beast that lurks the bottommost sepulchres. The secrets of the city are all yours at last.
Да. Окей. Ладно, на этом на сегодня мы закончим. Надо было бы это сделать еще раньше, но был важный диалог. Вот. Ну, продвигаемся потихонечку. Окей. Все. Всем пока.